like, do you expect a dick when you match with a woman? Is my question.
No.
Right, and that's why it doesn't matter. And people like, listen, if I have a friend that identifies as a woman, you know, and they were, you know, naturally born male and they've transitioned, I have no issue, you know, like referring to as she or whatever the fuck your nickname is gonna be.
Sure.
Oh, my name is James, but I go by Jim. I'll call you Jim. Whatever you like, I'm gonna call you whatever makes you feel comfortable. But in the grand scheme of things, if there's somebody like that, sees them and they're like, oh, hey, I'm gonna be like, how dare you, fucking big? It's like people are just categorizing. I think on the interpersonal. Yeah. I mean, if you don't respect what your friends want to be called, then I mean, you're kind of an asshole, right? But in the grand scheme, and I think
I get it. Like I mean, like I know what I like sexually. I think this is what I like sexually, and this is what I'm gonna get sexually. I'm not.
How inclusive is it for anybody trying to learn English to try to wrap their fucking head around? Like, they're like, okay, and then they're like, well, now you have to understand what Zimzer means, what, like, demon baby, like, how the fuck is that not, incredibly too oppressive to non-native English speakers?
Like masculine or feminine. So now everything is nosotros.
Exactly. Yeah, like... Nobody straight is signing up for a chunky, hairy guy.
Hey, I'll be gay for pay. You know what I'm saying? No,
wait, did we start?
No, we were about to start before the OnlyFans. But speaking of gay for pay, that's actually a perfect segue for this episode of Casa Thinking, where we ask the question:
Would you be gay for pay? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. What is gay for pay? No, the question: what is gender? Seems like a hot topic today. And we have our guest, Amir and Leslie, two local comics.
Both with genders.
And, both with genders. We're going to...
Separate genders.
Separate genders. Separate but equal.
Soundboard, dude.
Hell yeah. Thank you. So, yeah, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
How come I didn't get any sound effects when we recorded...
I was still setting up at that moment.
All right, cool. All right, we can
He's
move on.
showing off now.
Eventually, I have the audio, but these are the default sounds. That's why I have the... Okay, that's...
You brought out the soundboard just for you?
Yeah, for the gender.
Yeah, I changed up the lights, you know, that way it looks like it's two different days, but it's the same day, so it's going to look like you just wear the same shit every day.
I could have taken my jacket off.
Yeah, we'll just drop it on a different week.
Are you cold? You look very cold.
No, I'm good.
He's like, this is part of the fit. It goes with the fit.
You got a whole New Yorker look a little bit, you know?
What do you want me to do, man? We got to represent.
So great. Thank you, Amir, Leslie. Leslie, you have not been on this show before, on the studio before.
No.
So we're going to start with you. You know, and by the way, this is Casa Thinking. We're asking questions that probably don't have answers. So we're free to freestyle. What's gender to you?
So it's an interesting thing because I identify as a female, you know, but I'm gay. I'm a lesbian, like wholeheartedly through. Like I know I like women. So I feel like that in some ways makes me a male.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, like, what draws the line? Is it like, because I get a period, I'm still a woman?
Okay, so is your experience as a human being closer to, say, a heterosexual female or a heterosexual male? Is that what the idea is?
I think to a heterosexual male.
You think your experience overall has been closer to a heterosexual male?
I think so.
Hell yeah. Okay.
But I enjoy identifying as a female.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because you are, and that's fine.
Yeah. Like I'm totally a woman and I want to say I'm a woman, but I definitely think that maybe I've gotten a little more privilege because I can come across as more male-ish.
So, but does that mean you come across as more just masculine, you know, and there could be specifically heterosexual females that do lean more masculine, right? That are still heterosexual. And so I guess it's not your gender so much as your personality, you know?
Maybe. And I think that might be what it is. I think it might be personality.
Well, I like to make this argument, right? And I think maybe we can like navigate around this and figure it out. We humans are pattern making machines, right? Like, what's the difference between blue and green? Really, if the entire light spectrum, like visible light spectrum is, is this red or orange to you? Is this light, right? So we just categorize shit so that we can better manipulate it, right? Like we have people that are born male, people that are born female. Then there's the intersex, XX, XXY, right? Mm-hmm. And so we categorize things, but at the end of the day, and this is why I say, I've said before, language is highly contextual. In the United States, if I tell you, hey, I drove a truck here, what car are you picturing in your mind?
A Ryder truck.
Yeah, okay.
Like a van.
A truck, okay, well,
I would think like a pickup truck.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, you ask 100 people, maybe they think pickup truck, and maybe it's the context as well. Maybe you're like, putting in because I'm Hispanic, and maybe, there's a little bit of that. But, so, and once again, if we need more clarification, we're like, oh, okay, no, I mean a pickup truck. So I think language is just made for communication, right? So it's like, male, female, right? And then, other, whatever. But I feel like the conversation now, of course, like, I try to like square the argument that it's like gender's a construct. And then gender is a spectrum, and try to navigate like where you hear, men can get pregnant. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, let's hear what Amir has to say about gender.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
Oh, shit.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I honestly, I haven't really spent too much time thinking about this. Yeah. I know everyone likes to talk about it, but to me, it just hasn't become a thing. But maybe it will be because now I have a kid. And
you have a kid.
I have to start thinking about it.
A thing for you.
But to me, it's always been like I don't need to. I just treat everyone as a human being.
Yeah, that's a very safe answer. I like it.
That's all I gotta do. I don't need to fight it.
So before you met your wife, if you're like, did you walk up to her? Like, how did you meet her?
On not social media, on dating app. Yeah.
Yeah. What if she says I'm a female, but then you find out she has a dick? Would you be cool with that?
No.
Right. So it does matter to some degree.
So, but
what? No. Okay. So now you're talking about sexual preference here, right?
Okay. Well, if
you're talking about gender,
let's say assuming that you like women, right, and you are matching with a woman, you would expect a woman, to. Like, do you expect a dick when you match with a woman? Is my question.
No.
Right. And that's why it doesn't matter. And people listen, if I have a friend that identifies as a woman, and they were, naturally born male and they've transitioned, I have no issue, referring to as she or whatever the fuck your nickname is going to be.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, my name is James, but I go by Jim. I'll call you Jim. Whenever I'm going to call you whatever makes you feel comfortable. But in the grand scheme of things, if there's somebody like that, sees them and they're like, oh, hey, I'm going to be like, how dare you fucking big? It's like people are just categorizing, I think, on the interpersonal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't respect what your friends want to be called, then, I mean, you're kind of an asshole, right? But in the grand scheme, and I think
I get it. I know what I like sexually. I think this is what I like sexually, and this is what I'm going to get sexually. I'm not going to try to navigate outside because then I don't enjoy sex.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't involve me, I don't give a shit.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't involve me, who the fuck cares?
So is the idea of this big gender what would seem like almost an argument at times between some people? Does it even exist? Because that's kind of how I feel. Is that oh my gosh, you guys are arguing about this. It's an interesting argument, but it means so much to so many people that you can't say that it's not a topic that we can talk about. You know
I think people are making too much of a big deal out of it. I think really.
In which way? In which way?
For sure. I was in a meeting and everyone was going around saying their pronoun, and I'm like, I just said my name, and I just
And there was
I
maybe
just-
like a couple people that did that, right? That like
yeah,
their
because I don't
pronouns?
want it to make a big deal of it. That's my philosophy, and I get it. They doing it to make people who have, out of
Yeah.
ordinary, or I don't say out of ordinary, but
Typical.
non-typical or
Yeah.
conventional
Right.
pronouns to make them feel safe.
yeah.
But I just think like I personally haven't felt like it's that much of a big deal, and I think if it is to someone, they would come and maybe tell me.
Right.
Well, as somebody who, identifies as, gay, lesbian, what do you think about it? Do you think that that's a conversation that's, in my opinion, like, I'm not really sure why we're having that conversation at work, I guess. You know what I mean? In my opinion, you shouldn't necessarily share what your gender or whatever
Yeah, don't ask, don't tell
is.
us
Yeah.
for your position.
Not even, no, don't ask, don't tell. I feel like it's more like it's none of my business. That if I have an interpersonal relationship with somebody and they share that information with me, chill. You know what I mean? But in a big group setting, I feel like it's almost like you're shining a spotlight on that person.
I
and
think we're
being like,
hopping around a little
"Hey."
bit because we
Alright.
went from gender to sexual preference to pronouns.
Are they not
True.
all linked together?
I don't think they're all linked together. I think they could be different. They could all be like a very separate facet.
Yeah, I
Each
think
of
they
them.
could be separate, but I do want to piggyback off of what you were saying. No one at work would know I'm gay.
You don't
I
think
would never.
you don't.
No, I would never disclose that.
So
you
if
know.
that conversation was going around and it came to you, you wouldn't say your pronouns or
like
guess
if they
I wouldn't-
ask us to do our pronouns, I still identify as a woman, so I'm
Yeah.
still she, her.
I guess that wouldn't
See,
necessarily
that's the
out
difference
you.
between
Yeah.
sexual preference and pronoun.
Yeah. So unless someone like brings it up to me, but
Yeah.
no one would, because who
Yeah.
would in the
Yeah.
professional world? You know.
I guess what I'm getting at, and I guess when it does make an obvious spotlight on somebody, that's when I would think that, I don't know, because like you said, yours would not specifically out you as anything other than
Yeah.
a woman,
Like at work, like there's
So-
no need. But like if I'm drinking and I'm at a bar or something, I might be
Yeah.
like, I'm gay,
yeah,
just to. I don't know.
Just wear a shirt.
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean?
just
and
'cause
then
it's
you
more
don't even.
free.
It's but
yeah,
that's
and then
it's a
also
different-
it's like, what am I protecting to?
Yeah.
You know.
I was actually gonna buy a shirt in South Florida that said, "I'm not gay, but $20 is $20." I thought it was
will
very
wear
funny. Yeah, like I would wear it.
Hey, well,
I love it.
But they want to charge me $40, so I'm gonna make it on my creek cut back here.
I love it, dude.
But and Amir, and with this conversation, I think it is messy. I think most people it gets wrapped up in all these things, right? Where I'm of the same camp. I'm like, it's almost like what if I said I've been in those meetings. I was in a meeting. I think the last job I was at where it was nothing but goddamn cishet people everywhere. And they're all like, "Hi, my name is Mike, and my pronouns are he, him. Hi, my name is Sarah, and my pronouns are she, her." There was not one fucking person that did not match the pronouns that you can fucking see.
Then why are we doing this?
Exactly.
Right.
Why
No, I'm
are we
kidding.
That's
doing
what
it?
But
saying,
they wouldn't
this
know
is
though.
a-
That's the
yeah.
thing.
This is a
I
meeting
can
that-
see both sides of the equation. I'm sorry to talk over
No,
you.
you go ahead.
I could see both sides of the equation. Like they wouldn't know. If you're hearing within a bunch of people that you don't know.
But
How
who
would they
gives a
know?
shit?
But see, you're creating. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. You're creating a safe environment. So if I'm a they, them, or a hoo-ha, whatever,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna feel safe telling people because maybe I feel like they're feeling some certain type of way
Yeah.
about unconventional pronouns,
Sure.
unless everyone else is also talking about their pronouns. So they're creating an open space for me to express my unconventional pronouns.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree with you. And I completely can understand that. My contention is
Leslie, can I have one too? Sorry.
yeah. My contention is, what is the purpose of language? Ease of communication or not? And gender is just one facet of a person's. The what? Huh? Yeah. I have another one. There's one right here. Let me know if that one's still cold. If not, I'll grab another one from the back fridge. I also have a.
She just like
I was just
went
Uh,
over
White
his
Claw.
shoulders
Yeah.
like.
Should still be pretty
Yeah.
chilly.
hilarious. I hope we got that on camera.
Huh? No. There.
Was there a fridge?
I was wondering how you were gonna
Is there a
twist that
fridge
off.
there? Where did she get that from?
I think he just had a
Here,
six-pack that he had
you want me to
pulled
help
out
you?
earlier.
You got it. There
I
you
was
go.
like, he has like a mini fridge there.
No, that would be cool though.
No,
You
no,
should
no,
get
no
one.
worries.
I do have
You should get a mini fridge, dude.
I
Right
should.
here, dude.
Oh, that's a great fucking idea. There you go.
You're welcome.
I have one.
Hell yeah. I'll
And
make
hey, when you get it though, I
Yeah.
need to be the first person that pulls a drink out.
You
of
got
this.
it.
Thank
You got the manly girly
Ooh.
guarantee.
And we should get
Oh.
and cover it with stickers.
Oh, nice. Hello Kitty stickers.
Hell yeah.
Any stickers.
Hello Kitty stickers. Specifically.
Did you know that Hello Kitty was not even a cat?
Yes, because I worked at the Hello Kitty store all
Did you
through
really?
college.
Really?
At
Do you love
Crush.
Hello Kitty?
I think they
do.
call that the
I
Sanrio
fucking
store.
love Hello Kitty.
Yeah. And she doesn't have a mouth because she speaks from her heart.
Is that why?
Yes!
I didn't know.
No
that.
one knows
Jesus.
that.
I didn't. Well,
I was-
nobody ever knew that she was a little girl either, and I usually get them with that. So,
Yeah. Talk about gender. I was so mad at Saturday Night Live because I was like, this should have been my thing.
Yeah.
You know, that skit. I was
What
like,
the
this
fuck
was
are
my
you
I don't know,
life.
I don't know this
about?
kid you're talking about.
We don't watch Saturday Night Live. What are you talking about?
Did they
Tell
know that
us.
you used to work at the Hello Kitty store?
Oh,
Or-
I
They
don't
just
know.
told
Where
us.
are
She
you
just
just
told
now?
us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, Saturday Night Live did a whole skit about working at the Hello Kitty store. And I was like, this was my reality.
Yes.
This was real.
You know, so here's my thing is I think that every single thing that we see any comedian do online, they've just harvested from the internet. They've harvested it from fucking Twitter. They've harvested it from you, and you. All of you. Any funny person, they're just taking it. And it's basically like the new AI, you know? They're just writing jokes like that.
Yeah, I used to do a joke. I was like, I used to work at the Hello Kitty store. I sold pussy to minors.
No, that's a good
Yeah.
joke. Yeah, I
It
like
was
it.
such
really
a fun
good
time in my life. Dear Daniel, Hello Kitty, Pachaco, Bats Maru.
I want to touch back on what you were saying, what you were mentioning, Amir, about creating a safe environment, right? Gender is just one facet of our lives, right? And I understand being devil's advocate, but for what I see, if I look at the underlying thing, it's a bunch of people acting in a particular way to cater to one person, aka the minority, right? And whereas it sounds, I think that the way we take things really has a lot more to do with us than with the outside world, right? So what is really at scale easier that one person, you know, like, because we'll start multiplying. Okay, I want to feel safe about my gender identity. I want to feel safe about my height. I want to feel safe about my race. I want to feel safe about my background. I want to feel safe about X, Y, C. You know, mutable things.
I can say
Go ahead.
something to that, but you're not reminded of your height with just by someone talking to you. So
Are you
like
not?
if I'm not referring to you when I talk about you, I don't say how old are you?
37.
No. Sorry, how tall are you is what I meant to ask.
5'8" in the morning.
Okay, I
Yeah,
would say
before my-
Arturo, the 5'8" guy who's 37. You know,
Okay.
I don't always refer to you that way when I talk to you, but when I talk to you, I do use your pronoun.
What about my race? What would you refer to as my race if all of a sudden?
The Peruvian guy.
Yeah. What if I say I identify as white?
But do you want someone to?
Well, I don't feel safe if I can't have my race identity justified by.
But no
the
one ever
group of-
says white Arturo.
No, but
everyone just says
but,
Arturo.
But if you're talking, let's say there's two Arturos, and you need to separate the two, and white's a Caucasian guy, and the other guy's that's
you
me,
use their
but I
last-
identify as
most
white.
people use their last name.
But what if you don't know my last name? And this is my contention that language is not aimed at identifying things. Language is the purpose is ease of conversation, communication, and I think when you introduce and what I would call arbitrary, and once again, I'm not against the feeling of people being safe, right? But I don't think in an office setting, where is the harm? I think there may be things about your life that you do feel unsafe, but I don't think everybody catering to make the environment within the office safer is doing anything for you out there. If anything, it might even be polarizing. People are like, what the fuck?
Well, I don't know that it so much polarizes things, but what I have noticed, in my opinion, is maybe it creates an unrealistic idea of safety because the office is very safe, because your home is very safe, because your friends are safe, and all of these things are really safe, but the world is not fucking safe. You know what I mean? No matter how safe that we would like to create in our own little bubble, the world is not a safe place. And not preparing people for not having a safe place is not doing them a service, I guess. You know, I would never
And I speak
tell
very
my
passionately.
son,
I'm not
you know,
angry. I just
No,
yeah,
no,
I was just loud.
I
not
understand. I
Hispanic.
mean, it's almost like maybe I agree with you. I agree with you. I say coddling people is not good. But like you tell me your name is Arturo, but I'm like, nah, you don't look like an Arturo. I'm gonna call you Louis.
Yeah. My main man, Ray.
Yeah. I mean,
My main
but like
man,
if out of
Ray.
nowhere I start saying, hey Ray, you're like, yeah, but my name's Arturo, dude. I'm like, oh yeah, whatever. You know, it's kind of like that.
Well, it
you know?
depends.
yeah, it's
Depends
shitty.
what question.
Super
Hey,
shitty.
are you offering me an opportunity that could be holy shit, really advantageous? Then
No,
I
in the meeting.
No, but I'm saying, right? Let's say you're, maybe I remind you of a Ray, right? Like, and maybe your brain is making associations. Once again, I
Maybe
can
it's
then
a
make the choice to
compliment.
get offended, or I can talk to you after. Hey, by the way, my name's Arturo, and you're like, oh, you remind me of my friend Ray. I'm sorry about that. Or maybe you're like, I don't give a fuck what your name is, right? But I think that we're not gonna get to that conversation.
But I would be a dick if I was like, I don't give a fuck what your name is, because in every meeting that people don't know each other, they go around and say
in
each
that
other's
scenario.
names.
But I could just remind you of a Ray, and your brain's making that association. How are we ever gonna get to know each other better
saying-
if we can't get beyond that first step of communication? I think we're imperfect beings. We're gonna make mistakes, and I think these things don't get us closer. If anything, it sends us further apart. But I could be wrong.
No, yeah,
He's saying, though, there are two responses to that. You could be like, fuck you, I don't give a shit if your name's Ray or Arturo or whatever. Or you can say, oh, well, actually, it's this. And you remind me so much of him, I misspoke, whatever. And then, you come to some understanding. But again, if there's like, hey, fuck this guy, he called me Ray.
How
And now
about
I'm not
you,
going to talk
Leslie?
to him. So
What do you think?
In what way?
I don't know.
About any of it.
I wanted to see your take on it. Like the thing in the meetings, as Samir mentioned. Like, what would be your reaction to that?
I don't know that I would have a reaction. I think it would just be kind of complacent.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I think most people are complacent. I mean,
Yeah.
in that meeting, I think I felt like it was unnecessary, so I didn't do it. But what I'm trying to say is like, if I feel like it's necessary, I might do it. If I feel like there might be someone who needs to
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Oh, actually, I might not do it even because I think. Listen, I'm nothing but an ally. I say to both sides. I would like to think that I have trans friends. I'd also like to think that I have gay friends. My old roommate was gay. Like one night I fell asleep on the couch and I woke up to noises that were unfamiliar to me. And then like his room was in the kitchen. I don't give a fuck. I used to work with this guy in Oklahoma. Actually, it really lends itself to gender in the oil field, and he's like, yeah, gay guys, they're not like real men, or whatever. I'm like, first of all, I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Gay guys are as much a man as you and me. I'm like, think of a woman, that sexy lady, what you feel about how you feel about them. That's how a gay guy feels.
Yeah.
That's literally how a fucking gay guy feels, and it's like, it's oil field, very, like roughneck, right? Very conservative, but it's like, I'm like, I try to explain it to him, and he might have disagreed, but I was not gonna back down because I think that's the way. It's like, dude, I also told my my old roommate, I'm like, I hope you find a beautiful prince with a big cock that can satisfy you. I don't give a fuck. How does that affect me at all? Zero. I don't know. So I think we can be loving and inclusive without being coddling and almost. Like for example, right? Am I gonna get to know a person better if they're like, hola, would you like me to speak? No, talk to me like a fucking regular person. How you would talk to anybody else. Otherwise, are you pandering to me based on my race or my gender?
Yeah, I get that. You feel like the disingenuousness, and I don't like that. I think that's the key factor here. It's disingenuous ingenuity.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. But I do think that, like you can really sense someone's like intentions, and obviously you could be wrong,
I think
but,
so.
well,
hey, you go with your gut feeling.
that's why lying exists. You know what I mean? Like bad people pretend to be good by saying nice things and wearing those sheep's clothing. You know what I mean?
Hard.
Like,
it is hard
I
to
think-
trust nice people.
Well, no, I just think I have this saying actually is nice does not equal good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure Jeffrey Epstein did lots of nice things.
Nice things, yeah.
Sure, he fucking did. That man's a monster.
That's the name of
You
the
know what I
fucking
mean?
episode. I'm sure Jeffrey Epstein did a lot of nice things.
Yeah.
The point is what I'm saying is
Intro,
nice
yeah.
does not equal good,
like
and
it.
I don't trust you just because you smile at me and shake my hand and use my correct pronouns. It doesn't make you my friend.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Anyone can study somebody.
Exactly.
But like, what
Does
is
that
the
make me sound paranoid?
No, not at all. But like, also, I've always thought like a really interesting intersect is, I don't know, what is the negotiation between sexual orientation and gender? Because they're two different things, but how
Yeah.
do you decipher?
Sure.
And as a hetero person,
I almost think I'm like, let's just get rid of gender and go back to sex. Are you male or female?
right? Wouldn't that be so
like-
much easier? Just if you,
That's the
Yeah.
food. That's the food. You know, we all have things that work against us, and we all have things that work for us. And I see no reason that I shouldn't use the ladders available to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, dude. Fuck it. Let's all go by they them. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying, you know, as long as it's not shitting on somebody else, you know, I would never do that. But absolutely,
true in some regard, yeah.
as long as it's true in some regard. You're like, as long as I'm not taking, you know, a place of some actual minority. No. Is that where we draw the line? No.
Maybe.
Maybe. You're like, depends. How unemployed am I at the moment?
Because even in the they them,
Are we starting?
yeah, sure. Because even in the they them, as you were mentioning, like maybe she'll go. It's a joke. We should go by they them. If it was one more gender between he, him, and she, her, I think most people would have okay, you know. But then it started just spiraling into demi pronouns. Have you heard of demon pronouns?
Yeah.
Like it's like holy fuck, you know. It's
Or X. What is that?
what? I don't know that one.
Yeah.
Axe pronouns? I'm gonna look all this shit up.
Axe
Yeah.
or
X. Yeah. Someone will identify
But
as
you know
just
what?
X.
No, people don't actually like use it. Like you can't like grammatically when you talk about
Of
them,
course not.
your brain will like.
stroke out. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. You can't do that.
I bet you even when they hang out with their friends, they're not. No one's been like, X. You know, I don't know.
Demon,
Yeah.
Damon, whatever.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
friends with different pronouns, and I
Vampire.
still accidentally say like,
Yeah.
call them a she.
In question,
Well, because
right?
they were your friends pre-transition? Yeah.
And like some
But
of
do they
them don't even transition,
Yeah.
but they go by the other and-
Pronouns.
Yeah, and that's hard,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But
Well, let's add another layer to this, since we're talking about inclusivity. How inclusive is it for anybody trying to learn English to try to wrap their fucking head
shit.
around? Like they're like, okay, L A, and then they're like, well, now you have to understand what Zimzer means, what like demon baby, like how the fuck is that not
Yeah.
incredibly too oppressive to non-native English speakers?
like masculine or feminine, or
Yeah.
so now everything is nosotros.
exactly. Yeah, like
That's incredibly confusing, I can imagine.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think it's confusing when we speak the language.
Yeah, the language I speak, Farsi, no genders at all in any
Really?
form
None?
whatsoever.
Okay.
No gender.
yeah, to me it just sounds like noises, so that makes sense. You know, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
They laugh at that, but
So what does everybody refer to,
Huh?
like in your language?
So it's like you say "oo," which means that person. It's like a pronoun, but it just doesn't have a gender. It's
what
like,
if it's a man and a woman? How can you tell them apart?
why do you need to?
Because you're like, hey, ooh, it's very sexy. You know,
And then if you're wondering, you would be like, is she a man or is
no,
is that
but let's
per-
say
is-
let's say you say it. You know, like let's say the other person doesn't know your sexual orientation. Like, ooh, it's very sexy. And they're like, well, is he talking about the man or the woman?
Exactly. You asked the question. The language is actually very complex. It's just that form of it. It just doesn't exist.
So it's an extra step.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So how does that make it like easier in communication if you have to take extra steps to communicate the idea that you're trying to communicate?
But like, for some reason, you don't need to know unless you specifically need to know the gender. You would ask. I think most reasons, most purposes, you don't really necessarily. It's like information that you don't really need to know.
Do you speak another language besides Farsi and English?
French. I know a little bit of French, but not like that.
Because I have this hypothesis.
French is very gender oriented.
Most languages are, and I have this hypothesis, and I didn't know about Farsi, but I think a lot of people that are native English speakers, because English doesn't have a gender built into the language, there's just the. I think they have an issue separating gender and sex because of what happens when you grow up in a non-gender language. For example, I grew up learning, speaking Spanish. I took German for 10 years, Italian for 2, French for 2, right? German has 3 genders. And not only fucking different ways to talk about the future, the past participle, it's all fucking different. Even the verbs change, right? It's very organized and structured. And maybe that has something to do how the culture develops, right? What the culture, like we talk about German engineering, right? The Romance language also has a 3rd gender, but it's mostly male and female. And nobody thinks that the house is a lady in heels, right? Like La Casa, like El Sandwich, it's like, oh, why is the sandwich a fucking guy, right? And I think, that's my contention, that I think language, the purpose of language is not about validation. It's about ease of communication. And
exactly. So like, why do you need to add genders to objects? Same
because
reason you
because
don't need to add genders to people.
Because it's ease of communication and beauty and flow, right? Because as I mentioned, I asked you, how can you tell it? Well, you ask another question. Well, that's more words that somebody has to learn to communicate.
But like, if I say the couch is sexy, do you need to know the gender of the couch? Because in Spanish, or in French, the couch is a female.
But that's what I'm saying. I think not being raised in a gender language doesn't allow for that clear distinction that the gender doesn't matter. And I think if you,
I see what you're saying, yeah.
And I think it becomes confusing, but coming from learning a couple of different gender languages is like, okay, well, and that's what I say, maybe we should just say male and female, right? Because it doesn't matter. And the fact that it matters so much to validate somebody's identities is the thing that I think is ridiculous. Once again, validating identities. If we are somebody that you know me and you want me to call you whatever, that's not me validating your identity. That's me validating whatever you like out of personal respect and mutual communication. But I could still be in disagreement over the overall general, like, forcing speech. For compelling speech, just, I don't know. I don't know if you're able to compel speech on that, can you compel speech on anything else? And do you set a precedent, right? That it's like no longer the thoughts or words of the individual matter, but actually what everybody else thinks that the individual should say that matters. I don't know. I think that mechanism is a little, not in America. I'm just kidding. But I could be wrong. So, like, maybe I'm not seeing it, like, I don't mean to shut down the conversation,
I don't think we'll ever know.
We won't know, because this is Casa thing, and there are no answers.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know how far we've gone, because we paused, and I wasn't counting.
Well, did we answer it? Is the question. What is gender?
No, we didn't, but that was the point.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think that was the point. Yeah.
I think that's the point. I think maybe it just requires, further insight, and here it goes to our earlier point of the other show. If we can't agree on where the line is drawn, then we can't really draw the line for everybody else, right? Because let's say I misgender somebody, they can choose to stop the conversation and be like, I will not get to know you better, and I'm going to take this as an assumption that you meant ill. And until you validate, until I force your hand to say the magic words that I want you to say, I will not engage you.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that helps us understand each other instead of like, okay, let me give you the benefit of the doubt. Okay, maybe say a couple of times, hey, by the way, this is not, or whatever. Then the other person can, once again, be an asshole, be like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Or be like, oh, my bad. I did not realize that. And they're probably, very apologetic, or a bunch of other reactions that could happen. I think I think we have to allow people to make mistakes and then come back from those mistakes, right? Because I don't know if we agree that it's like, no, you can't say that. You have to gender me correctly. Well, or I'll call you an asshole, or how about I video you, or how about I get you fired, or how about I tell everybody in whatever group that we're in that you're a fucking asshole that doesn't care about. I don't know. It seems a little drastic. It seems a little bit too nuclear right off the bat. I don't know.
It's true. Amen to that.
Yeah.
This has been Casa Thinking. We promised no answers here, and we have stuck to that promise. Right? Now, let's see these two beautiful baby comedians. Don't ask them what their gender is.
But ask them where their Instagram is.
Yes.
So
tell us.
what is that Instagram? Don't be coy.
Do you want me to go first? Oh, yeah. It's Amir.
What a gentleman.
Comedy with a K.
And then Leslie 95.
I love that.
95.
So
Hell
sad.
yeah.
So
Were you
sad.
born in 95?
No.
Oh, shit. That's even better.
The year I was born was taken.
Holy
dare
shit.
they?
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
She just stuck with 95.
It's
huh?
close, but yeah.
Close,
Hell yeah.
but
No cigar.
not gonna
Yeah.
steal your identity.
Hell yeah. Well, we both to have you both
Yeah.
back. You know, you have to come back for another manly
Individually,
girly.
maybe.
Yeah. Or
Yes. No.
yeah, or our show Gringo in the Rough, you know? Like it's pretty good.
Oh yeah, you should come back for Gringo in the Rough.
Yeah, yeah.
What's
Absolutely
that?
be
I'm
a-
curious about that.
Well, it's just a funny name. Like in Peru, a lot of people think that gringo is a bad word. It's not. It's like if I say fucking gringo, you might think, oh man, gringo is a bad word. But if I say fucking Latina, you might also think that Latina is a bad word, right? In Peru, I'm white. And in most of the countries, in most other countries, you're either light or dark. You know, like, so blanc, it would make no sense to call Caucasian or more like lighter feature people Blanco because like I'm Blanco, right? So gringo is almost like a subsection of white, you know, like usually American. It used to mean like it's interchangeable because it refers really to initially was because, you know, blonde hair, blue eyes, but now it's become more American, right? Like, you know, when I go to Peru, it's like, oh, you're acting like a gringo or whatever, right? And it's
Now gringo just means American. So is it an insult now? Actually, isn't it insult?
well, is it an insult that
fucking
is it
gringo.
an insult that, you know, white Americans don't consider me white?
I don't know.
So I don't
Do you
think
feel insulted by that?
no, not at all. But I think in America, the definition of white is a very slim definition, whereas
Sure.
in the rest of the world, I don't think that's the case.
That's
You know?
probably true. Well, that's why, you know, when it comes to gender and race and everything, that white women are going to go ahead and make all the rules for all of you.
Thank you.
I'll write them all down. Leslie will join me, but she won't
Yes.
tell anybody that she's a lesbian at work.
Yes,
and then
no.
she'll actually correct all my grammar.
She
and
won't tell
sign
anybody
off
that
at
she's
the
part
end.
Hispanic either.
Yeah,
She's like,
exactly.
yeah.
I'll just
We'll
there
sneak her
watch. Yeah.
She's checking on my work. She's like, yes, I approve of this as a minority white lady.
I'm silently getting promoted.
Exactly.
At first, I thought I'm like,
climb that ladder.
yeah. At first, I thought everybody's. I'm like, okay, you know, like, you know how, Irish wearing white and then they became white, right? Italians wearing white and they became white, right? Like Asians wearing white and now they're like more than white, apparently, right?
Yeah, they're the most white.
And in the '90s, like when I moved here in the 2000s, I'm like, okay, Hispanics are gonna get their turn. And then feminists came by, where like the weight of a white woman weighs more than me being a Hispanic man.
Yes, it's insane.
It is fucking nuts. We'll see you in the bridesmaid. The Handmaid's Tale days.
It's crazy, man.
This has been Casa the Thinking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Could you say goodbye?
Bye.
Bye-bye. I love how you're the only caveat for that plan. It's that you're too jealous for the OnlyFans
No, listen, you can have a secret OnlyFans
No,
so
but
that I
what
would
I'm
not be aware
saying
about.
is, I never said that I wanted a fucking in what point in time did I agree to this?
Well, did I imply that? I did not mean to imply
Well,
that
would you be too
whatsoever.
jealous for an OnlyFans?
Would I be too jealous for him to have an
Yeah.
OnlyFans? He can have an OnlyFans if he would like.
Hey, I think it's only fair.
Yeah?
No, I'm just kidding.
So I'm going to turn gay for pay? Is that what, you know, what
What?
we're leading
He's
up
gonna
to?
be gay?